Alright, let's wrap up Wonderland.
It's time to kill a walrus. No, he's not in this. Technically, he wasn't in Alice in Wonderland either when you think about it.
Yeah, he was a story being told by someone else. Alright, so here's a whole segment of the world where we're basically just looking for clues to Alice, find none, and are basically just chasing Heartless around.
Right. You know, ethically, I wouldn't want it done by a company, but I would love to see a run of this game that uses, like, AI cloning to, like, voice every line. Granted, you could probably hire voice actors just to do a much better job.
Perhaps. I mean, that might be a mod at some point of people taking, like, the original performance and trying to recreate it using AI. I'm not sure how I would feel about that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that starts happening.
Something I failed to mention when you talked about the year gap of Riku, the voice actor being so much older. One of the unambiguously I'm okay with this use cases would be to de-age a voice actor's like voice, much like they de-age an actor with like VFX or whatever. Because then it would still be the actor.
Yeah, that's just a tool. I've had no problem with AI as a tool. It's when it's like generative AI where it's trying to create things out of whole cloth and like replace humanity.
Oh yeah, I hate it. You're supposed to be doing my dishes, robot, not doing my art.
Yeah, one that I've been interested in is the idea of being able to cut out backgrounds automatically. So, like, green screen would be obsolete.
Oh, yeah. And we've had tech like that for a while, but it is getting better. It's the only way I can comprehend people making those just diamond tier shitposts that I see. Like, that YouTube poop of Robin Hood. I need to know how they made a lot of those scenes. That would be a really fun Kingdom Hearts world, because you would technically have to give Sora... He's never had, like, a quote-unquote furry design, has he? Like, to blend in with the folk, or is he just human when they don't really have a use case? Like, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, like, say he went to Zootopia. Donald and Goofy would be fine, but if he walked into there, anyway.
Oh, I was apparently on mute for all
that time. No! Okay, what did you say?
Well, anyways, I was saying that in terms of Sora's alt forms, there's never really been one that was like furry, quote unquote. They've the closest would be like Monsters Inc.
Right, or him becoming a full-ass lion in the Kingdom, or in the Lion
Yeah,
King.
but there's a sliding scale,
right,
of furries, and that's funny talking animal.
Right, because yeah, you got, as has been explained very well by the professor at Ligma U, the sliding scale of furries. I can't remember the name of his channel, but it is really funny. Ligma U. What a name for a college.
So here's an interesting factoid. Apparently, there were plans to incorporate the Gargoyles TV show into this game in some way, but those fell through for unknown reasons.
I wonder... I'm curious... That would have buoyed up that fandom a ton, I think, if that would have happened.
Yes. We will be talking about Kingdom Hearts reinvigorating fandoms a little bit later.
Yeah. Speaking of which, my brother who came in the room by accident last night, we got talking about this playthrough, and he's like, you know, Disney's Hail Mary, if they really keep falling from grace, to pull out of their pocket would be what if they made a Kingdom Hearts movie, like a big nice CGI movie? And I'm like, that could be really cool if they did a good job. But
I mean, you would have to have the Japanese side almost entirely in control, and it would have to work in with the plans that Nomura and others already have.
Right.
Like, you can't just say, make a Kingdom Hearts movie.
I get that. He was just more like, well, you know, people have been going into the multiverse thing, and this would be Disney's way of, like, being multiverse adjacent, since it's kind of a multiverse, but not really. It's more just a bunch of different things. I don't know. I brought up to him the whole canceled TV show we never got, that pilot surfaced, and he thought that was interesting. I don't understand this guy.
Okay, so this is a little mini game here. These Heartless, they will do these little animations, and then you're supposed to cast certain magic on them. So this little animation here, I'm supposed to cast Thunder on them.
Oh, you don't have Thunder.
I do not. So he's fanning himself, he wants to cool down, cast Blizzard. So if you get... if you cast the right magic on them 3 times, they'll drop a bunch of MP orbs and a little prize. If you do the same spell 3 times, they will drop an arts for that. So, like a fire arts or blizzard arts. Here, I didn't care. I was just showing them off. They serve... If you collect all of the an arts for each magic spell, you can get a weapon for, I think, Goofy.
Oh, cool.
Other than that, it's just bragging rights. You can also get some synthesis materials from them, depending on which spell you use. Different mushrooms at different locations may have different spells. So, like the basic fire, blizzard, thunder, I think are common to all of them, but the other spells are only done by certain mushrooms.
So, when it said "ow my head" just there, was that Sora saying that?
I believe that was the tree.
Okay.
Yeah. So right there, lucky drop. I got a protect chain.
Nice.
Enemies have a chance at dropping rare materials. Sometimes that includes accessories. Not that protect chain is a particularly good accessory.
I always hated this guy. It wasn't until I got gravity that I'm like, you can just go die. I just hate the big guys.
Yeah, large bodies are the bane of a starting Kingdom Hearts player, because they hit hard, they can be difficult to deal with, and right when you think you've got behind them, they will suddenly flip around.
Yeah. It's like fighting Pom Pom. Oh yeah, so those guys, those Heartless are technically little mushroom guys?
They're called Mushroom Heartless.
Okay.
Those are like the white mushrooms. There's a couple of different types of Mushroom Heartless in this game.
Yeah. I know the one that like turns to stone in Deep Jungle that I could never figure out.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what those ones are called. They have different names.
What I'm getting at is I would love a salt and pepper shaker that looks like them.
Alright, so, on the subject of mods, so last time, first off, I forgot to mention the name of who created the World Icon mod. That is Sora 20007. And then, for my mod, you may notice that some of the materials I've been picking up are blazing shards.
Oh.
Which is not what they were called in the original game, they were just called blaze shards. So for my mod, originally it was focused entirely on the synthesis items, just making those consistent, because I don't even remember how it happened, but I found out that, you know, all of the names of synthesis items across the series have been very inconsistent in English. They get called one thing in Kingdom Hearts 1, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 has its own scheme, and then by Kingdom Hearts 3 it's something completely different. So I changed it so that all of them are now blazing items, because blazing is the now standard term for that. And there's a bunch more in the game.
So did Donald and Goofy have 4 fingers?
I believe they do, as is standard for animated characters.
Right. Sora, though, I believe has 5.
I think he does, yes.
Reminds me how in Wreck-It Ralph and Felix have 5 fingers, but Vanellope has 4. Because they wanted to have different vibes for different, like, arcade cabinets. That's a world that I desperately wish was in Kingdom Hearts. Wait, when did Kingdom Hearts 3 come out?
2019.
Right. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So I very much would have loved to go to Game Central Station. The licensing would have been a nightmare, but it's more just being able to walk around that space would have been nice. Because I've always wanted that.
Wreck-It Ralph was a summon in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Unvoiced.
Yes, very specifically unvoiced, and technically Game Central Station has been in the series.
Yeah, it was Union Cross, right?
Yeah, the now defunct mobile
Why
game.
did it have to be in the one where it doesn't matter?
But yeah, it was just Game Central Station and Sugar Rush, nothing else.
Because yeah, I can in my mind picture Sora running around like the kind of outside of the apartment building and Fix-It Felix Jr. or whatever. Like, there's a lot you could do without ever having to touch a licensed video game property in that. But you kind of have to do it. Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things you can play around with in the Bizarre Room here, and yeah, after you do the fight at the Queen's Castle, when you go to some of these doors, rather than dropping out of holes in the Bizarre Room down to the floor, you'll wind up on the wall or on the ceiling.
Huh, I've never seen that item. Is that
which one? Defend?
Yeah, is that a permanent stat boost?
Yes, and this is another one that I changed the name of in my mod. Originally it was called Defense Up, and I changed it to Defense Boost because standard translation procedure in this series is changing Apu in the Japanese to Boost. And they were very inconsistent about that in Kingdom Hearts 1. Another thing right there, we just need to shock those flowers, rather.
Them foxgloves.
This should help.
But yeah, this is a little mechanic that they were playing around with, giving items to things other than just you and your party members. It comes up a little bit, but then no other game in the series played around with it.
I would have liked them to make the flowers a little bit more anthropologized. I can't say that word, but you know, like in the actual
anthropomorphized.
Movie. Thank you.
Yeah, and this little alcove here is in the main Lotus Forest area, just locked off.
Yeah, I've never seen this area in there, so that's interesting. Oh.
But yeah, in the earlier area, there was a pot that we stood on, and it raised up to form a platform so we could get up and over the chimney. There's a lot of... This is a very dynamic room. I like it.
Like I said, I used any excuse I could to get the heck out of here. I was not a fan. Frankly, I'm trying to think at what point I started to really enjoy myself in this game. And I think it was once you got the ability to, like, just move about without having to do the Gummi ship flights as much. Oh, they're very sad.
Yeah, initially you have to do the manual Gummi routes everywhere, but very quickly, if you play it right, you don't have to do that too much. They figured out that they needed to give you the warp Gummi pretty fast, so you could go to places you've already been, but new worlds always require you to manually fly there.
My headcanon is that they're magically trapped in that painting, and that's why we never see them. No, that's stupid.
I mean, I'm sure that it was a thing of, like, you know, there's only so many models that we can do, only so many voice actors we want to grab for each project.
I'm just surprised they never circle back, because Mad Hatter is pretty iconic, but then again...
Especially, that would have been a great way to spice up some of the times they revisit Kingdom Hearts 1 worlds.
Do they ever go back to Alice in Wonderland, or no?
Oh, constantly.
Oh.
It's just sort of standard operating procedure. If they don't know what to do, they just do all of the KH1 worlds again.
That's interesting.
Chain of Memories, 358, Recoded, they're kind of what I call the rehash games, and some of them have a good reason. You know, they incorporate it into the story, but still it's like, how many times are we gonna go back to Wonderland and Agrabah?
Yeah, do you think this... Oh, man, Agrabah... I feel like you could do a lot more with Agrabah with how they did... I mean, well, it's tricky, but... Yeah, then again... But yeah, it is interesting. I almost wonder if the studio has an A team and a B team. Because...
Oh, well, I mean, that's a... Exactly who is making the Kingdom Hearts games is a conversation, because it used to be a Tokyo-based team, and now it is an Osaka-based team, and their styles are very distinctive, and people have many opinions on it, so...
I keep thinking the thing of sit down to get your present. I keep thinking of this moment in SpongeBob, and I'm trying to remember when it happened, but it was like Patrick saying to, I don't know if it was that baby clam or Doodle Bob or whatever. He's like, here's your present, and then it like smashes him over the head. It's like, you're welcome, as his teeth are just ruined. It's funny, when I think of games like this, speaking of SpongeBob, Nicktoons Unite comes to mind. You ever heard or messed with that one? I've never been in this house.
No.
I didn't even know you could go in this house.
Oh, we're on the ceiling of the bizarre room.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't...
Yeah, you have to come here to complete the world.
Oh, okay, I must have. I just don't remember. I just blocked it out, but... I say, okay. Because, yeah, I haven't actually played Nicktoons Unite either. I was just like, that's kind of similar in that it's like big crossover IP game. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I guess, oh gosh, I just remembered, what is it? Multiverses? Oh, I made myself sad.
There are times where I am happy that I never cared about a thing because I know that it completely imploded. But then I think about the times where something I liked imploded, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't care, and I'm like, oh.
I think the thing that
like,
bugs
yeah,
me,
I didn't have to care about Multiversus going down, but I had to be the bag holder on Suicide Squad.
Man, it sucks because
Rocksteady,
conceptually, Suicide Squad was a good idea on paper, but just horrible. Terrible execution.
Very specific elements of Suicide Squad could have been good on paper,
right?
But you have to understand that Warner Bros. Wanted a live service grindfest basically from the start.
Like, when I see the concept of the game, I'm like, okay, I can see what the devs wanted versus what they had to do. At least that's me giving them the benefit of the doubt. But anyway, yeah, I think for me, the reason Multiverses hurts is while the game is going to have a local multiplayer only when you're done, all of the paid for characters are just forever going to be like, if you don't get them, you'll never get them. So my fingers are crossed for the modding community to save our butts on that. I've never touched the game, but being a Marceline stan, I'm like, am I going to play this game? I'm going to play this game. Gosh dang it. Have you ever done that with like a game where you're like, I wouldn't play this game if it wasn't for X character in it?
Probably, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
It's like me buying Skullgirls to play as Peacock because it just seems so fun. Plus, I really wanted that art compendium. And I'm glad I got it before a certain controversial thing happened that I won't go into for brevity. Oh, gosh.
I did hear about that Skullgirls controversy, and I also don't want to go too deep into it because I don't know too much.
I feel like it's a sore subject. I'm like, you know what? I can see whatever. I'm just glad I got it when I did. Anyway, I hate this boss so much that's coming. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Right there, examining that flower to get some stuff, I think that might have been the first time I ever did it because I just didn't really know about it.
Like this playthrough?
Yeah. Huh. I don't know. That flower always...
Metro.
I'm not sure I ever really knew about it. And move the clock, and we have a shortcut.
Yay! Where does it take you?
I believe it takes us back to the Tea Party Garden, but first we have to get the second of those mob fights back here in the rabbit hole. So you'll notice that I am using Blizzard a lot against the red floating fire Heartless, because elemental matchups, you not only does it do a lot of damage, you also get tech points.
Oh. Is it a rock, paper, scissors kind of thing?
It's more like the not quite rock, paper, scissors that you get in Breath of the Wild, where ice and fire negate one another, and then thunder is just sort of something else.
Okay. It's kind of like how Palworld has the most wacky type matchup chart I've ever seen. Whoa, what was that?
I was just saying that because we did this little optional fight, it spawned a chest.
I like that noise. I feel like you had your phone's, like, one of your notifications set to that, but I'm probably wrong.
It was not this. It was probably Persona. Yeah, for quite a while, my text notification sound was the Persona 5 texting sound, but now I just perpetually have my phone on vibrate. So.
Yeah. I made the mistake at one point in my life having the entirety of the sound you get when you get an upgrade in Metroid Fusion as my text message sound. And that's a long one.
Yeah, and that was something that Metroid needed to figure out, that it shouldn't play the full fanfare on every little upgrade. It should reserve those for the big ones and have a smaller one for the, like, just standard missile expansions.
Yeah. When did they start doing that? I'm trying to think.
Might have been Prime 2? Prime 3? I don't want to say that it was Dread, but...
It couldn't have been, because I feel like... I don't know. I never played the 3DS Metroid 2 game, so, yeah.
It might have been Samus Returns.
Yeah. All I can say is, I do like when there's a different noise for getting a pickup versus an actual upgrade proper. Makes it actually feel like it matters. Oh boy, here we go.
But yeah, oh yeah, I wanted to say earlier when I was talking about some of the Kingdom Hearts games rehashing Kingdom Hearts 1 worlds over and over again. To some extent, yeah, it is annoying, but on the other hand, I wouldn't want them to waste good worlds and concepts on the very minor ancillary games that really don't match up to numbered titles.
Yeah, like me bemoaning Wreck-It Ralph. Oh well. So, is it true you can only hit this guy on the table?
No, you can jump up and hit him. It's just that you can use the chair. This guy is annoying, and I'm not sure why he was such an early boss.
I think if I recall, I just tried to, like, as much as I could, spam fire from the table.
But yeah, with Kingdom Hearts, when it revisits Wonderland, it usually just does different variations of stuff that was in this first iteration, and it usually ends with this boss, and some of the other games' variations are much, much worse. I want to say that the recoded version of this boss was absolutely miserable. But yeah, mostly just jump and keep whacking at him and hope you hit.
Okay. Yeah. I died quite a few times to this boss, I'll admit.
It is before you get Cure, but
yeah.
keep some items on hand and you should be fine.
It's something I was very bad at doing. So, is he like a maestro, or what?
He is a Heartless. His name is the Trickmaster.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was another thing that Kingdom Hearts 1 had a flaw with, where if you used an item, you had to manually put a new one into your inventory after the fight. You had to remember to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 2 came up with an auto-reload system that worked extremely well, and they brought it forward basically unchanged in other games.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what they do in 4, if and when we ever get that game. I feel like it's got to be sooner than later at this point.
I mean, we're currently in, well, some would argue this, but in a bit of a Kingdom Hearts drought. I believe it was 2022, around this time of year, spring, that they announced Kingdom Hearts 4. Yeah, it was the 20th anniversary of this game. That was 3 years ago, and we have not gotten any major news since. Every major game event that comes around, we're always like, okay, is Kingdom Hearts 4 gonna be here? And then we're always wrong.
It's kind of like Metroid Prime 4. It's like, it's not just we don't have a release date. It's we don't so much have a trailer or anything of what the game looks like. Now, Prime 4, we finally did get that, but even still, like, yeah, like, oh, dang fireballs. Because yeah,
should have been dodge rolling, but whatever.
The suppositions based on that we might be getting Star Wars levels.
Please no.
I don't think it'll be good. Like, I think people were going off that one like forest shot, and like that might be an ATSD foot, but I think they're reaching on that, honestly.
It is honestly a very convincing argument that it's an ATSD foot because it looks a lot like one, but you know, it could be nothing. But I'm just like,
for your sake,
Star Wars is in a weird place, and honestly, even in the best of circumstances, and I know I'm pretty much alone on this, I've always just felt like Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts don't go together, and it wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, well, it's not, okay, so Treasure Planet, which would have been cool, and I know that was potentially going to happen at one point, is tricky because it's a world about going into space, or it's a movie about going into space, and this game already has space, so what do? But yeah.
They kind of threaded that needle with Lilo and Stitch at one point, but yeah, they haven't revisited that.
So
really.
Yeah, for that reason, I don't think Star Wars could work, because it's not a singular world, it's an entire galaxy of random crap.
You would basically have to take Star Wars and compress it down and be like, oh, there's just this one planet that's Star Wars and then nothing else outside of it exists.
Yeah,
and
that would.
At that point, you're probably going to, I don't know, like if it's just Tatooine, then it's like, well, there's nothing else outside of Tatooine, and that messes with a whole bunch of stuff.
It cannot work.
And yeah, I just don't think Star Wars is in a very good place right now. It's hard to argue that from any perspective that it is, and it's probably best just to let that one go and do something else that isn't going to be as controversial or contentious.
Yeah. I think equally as bad would be trying to throw Marvel in the mix, because that would just really muddy everything.
Absolutely.
To hell. It would not work.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about multiverses earlier. So I think one of the things that makes multiverses, which I think is already pretty passé,
so tired.
It was earlier this decade that they were really being used a lot, and now people are already considering them to be stupid. Mm-hmm. One of the main things is that you can, in each different version, there's a different version of each character, which means that if a character dies, you can just pull them from somewhere else in the multiverse and replace them. Hello, Gamora.
No.
And that is not at all applicable to Kingdom Hearts, so I wouldn't call this a multiverse.
No. I would not either. I would call it, it's more like just, well, it's just interplanetary, really.
Yeah. Just interplanetary, but with extra hard rules preventing people from leaving those planets. Right. They don't even know that the other planets exist.
It'd be like if flat earthers were right about the whole like firmament dome over the world crap or something. Man, I need
Well, it's also a perception filter because they can see like an infinite sky that doesn't match up with the ocean between at all.
Oh, that's weird. So they look out into space, but space isn't real?
It's sort of. I mean, in some instances, that would have to be it. Because, like, I don't know, maybe I'm reaching, but I always think of, like, the walls separating worlds as being, as necessitating some sort of perception filter, as well as just, and maybe Traverse Town just doesn't have that.
Yeah. I mean, you can see stars at night in other worlds, right? Or no?
You can, but is that the actual stars, or is that...
Because we know the stars are technically worlds, not suns in this, because...
I guess my reasoning there was that if you could see outside of your world, then you would see all of the weird stuff in the Gummi roots that isn't normal astronomy.
But at the
and
same...
see the other worlds.
But that's the thing, though, because, like, they're potentially far away enough without Gummi ships that, like, believe it or not, those pictures of Nebula that are beautiful are A, they're colored after the fact, and B...
Oh, there's solar systems in size. Many solar systems in size.
The pictures we see is squashing them down into a 2D image, so there's an argument to be made that you actually wouldn't be able to see any of the crap that you see on route. But I don't know, I'm no astrophysicist. Somebody call up Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's probably bugging somebody about something he doesn't belong talking about. I have feelings about what that guy rambles about sometimes.
Yeah. So here's the Gummi editor. It's not the best design, and they vastly improved it in Kingdom Hearts 2.
I like the animations of the weird tubes.
Yes, very Toontown aesthetic. I love it. It's great. And they kind of lost that later. But yeah, it mostly works. Build your own ship, which I mostly just take the starting ship and alter it to make it better.
Nice.
Because I don't have the time, patience, or creativity to build a ship out of whole cloth. Yeah, so when I alter the ship, I'll just cut straight to the finished product.
Just to be clear, Neil deGrasse Tyson's cool. When he veers off of astrophysics, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But whatever. Anyway.
Yep, well, we will see you next time.